Hi, it's Siobhan and Kent, and we are here for this video is running form 2.0.
Or 201,
201.
however you want to call it. So a little bit more advanced running form than the first video.
Okay, yeah. So for those of you who haven't seen the first video, it's very, it would be advantageous for you to go and check it out. But otherwise, here's Kent.
So we talked in the first video, and I'll just quickly go over your running pal. It's the posture, the arm action, the leg action. What we really talked about with the leg action was only cadence and getting that 180 steps a minute. It was the goal. What we're going to kind of cover here is varying terrain and that more advanced leg action. So, the forward lean. If you're on flat ground, we talked about you kind of just lean from the ankles, not from the waist, right? We don't want to have lower back problems. We want to have that lean be from the ankles, right? You can kind of see it here where I've got hips in front of ankles, shoulders in front of hips. You want to have that forward lean regardless of the terrain that you're on. Now, it's really easy to have this forward lean when you're running up a steep hill, because if you didn't, you'd fall back down the hill, right? So when you're running up a hill, it's very natural for you to kind of lean forward up into that hill. And when you're on flat ground, it's a little easier for people to kind of be more upright here. So you have to focus a little bit on having that forward lean. I feel like when I'm moving on the video like this, it looks funny. No. So, when you're on flat ground, the tendency sometimes is for people to be straight, which is going to, end up making you sink and get in running like this. We don't want to be running like this. We want to have that up here and be in here and pushing off, right? So that's flat ground. Where it becomes extremely difficult is when you're running on a downhill. So when you're running a downhill, the tendency is going to be to lean back to counteract that downhill and keep you from going too fast down there. Now, granted, if it's a really steep downhill, you might have to do that. But on a nice gradual downhill, you want to embrace that forward lean on the downhill. So if you just think about, here's a 90-degree angle, and then you think about that slight forward lean, you hold that angle. So this angle in here, regardless of the pitch, you want to hold that angle. So it should always be less than 90 degrees from the surface that you're running on. And so you embrace that forward lean when you're running down that hill, and you'll find that you can run a lot faster. So I taught myself this. I kind of went to a place where I used to do an uphill workout, and I'd be exhausted, breathing really hard, and I thought, geez, I should be able to run hard enough downhill so that I'm just as exhausted as I am running uphill. And it took quite a while for me to get the running form down where I could run hard enough downhill to make me as exhausted as I was running up the hill. But once I figured it out, it was great, because the one thing that I always tell people is, people who run fast uphill are either in better shape than you or working harder than you, but people who run fast downhill probably have better running form than you. So running form is the key to running fast on downhills, to be able to embrace that forward lean on the downhill, and then to be able to embrace that leg action. So here's the second part of the video after we covered this, the forward lean on different surfaces, is that leg action. So we're pushing, right? So you push off, and what we want to have happen is we want this leg to become a big wheel, right? So the higher up your knee comes, the higher up your heel comes, and then you want to have your leg swing out and make this big wheel action, right? So the bigger this wheel action is, that's the longer your stride length is going to be. So you got those 180 steps a minute. They can be short and choppy, or you can start to have these big wheels coming in here with that 180 steps a minute. And that comes from, again, all stride length for me comes with knee lift. So a short knee lift means short stride length. A high knee lift means a long stride length. But as we pull that knee up, the key is to try to tuck that heel up as close to your butt as you can. So you want to have a nice compact angle. So when we talked about arm action, if you have your arms bent like this, you can swing them pretty quickly back and forth without a lot of effort. But if you have your arms like this, it takes a lot of effort to try to swing them fast. Same thing with the leg. If you're trying to get that leg through, it's a lot more effort if the leg is long than if the leg is compact. So as you push off, you want to be pulling that heel up to the butt as you're bringing that knee up. And the final part of this leg action is what we call the paw back, where you have this little bit of hinge. I'm going to move back a little bit of a hinge where the leg swings out a little bit, and then you powerfully pull it back down to get it to land underneath or behind you, right? So ankles, behind hips, behind shoulders. So that's the leg action, advanced leg action that as you stride it out, as you pick up your speed, your cadence is going to stay at the 180 steps a minute, and you're gradually going to increase that stride length while you're keeping that 180 steps a minute. That's kind of our advanced version. That's the rest of the leg action is the big wheel, and hopefully you can work on that a little bit at a time. The way I like to have people do it is warm up, get your nice easy jog in, do some dynamic stretching, which we'll go through at some point, and then do some strides. So just start with that quick light action, working on that good posture and form. Gradually start to pick the knee up a little bit, pick the knee and the heel up, pick the knee and the heel up, and then get that little bit of paw back action and just open that stride up, recover, come back the other way, do it again, and just work on practicing it.